David. David. Watch out for Josh, man.
Likely his last start.
Yeah.
Hey, do you got to stay on this side for pregame?
There's
Or
no,
on this side?
There's no camera for
Pregame?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Okay. They could get us a shot from there, but I mean,
Yeah, no. Hey, Mitch. Can we have him shoot us for a second? We're going to do that? Hey, he's going to shoot us.
Let's go.
That's going to look fun. Hey, can we go live in 30 seconds? Can we go live in 30? 3 minutes and 30. Got it. 3:30.
Okay, bet.
Let's have fun tonight, eh, buddy?
Let's have a fun one. Last one.
Best one, baby. Hopefully, say everyone's name correct. Fuck. Daniel Crawford. Yeah, right.
Is he starting again, or is it?
Andrew Cass.
Oh, yeah.
Senior.
Okay, yeah.
All right, ready?
Yeah, let's get it.
Mitch, we ready? Yeah. Yo, what's up? High atop the balcony at Boca Ice Center. Tonight, the Owls, for the final time this year, will do action from their home, and they'll celebrate 4 of their seniors in what they hope is 7 straight victories over the UCF Knights. Hi, everybody, and welcome. My name is Devin Serra alongside Wesley Moore, and we're happy to bring you this one. And hello from a far distance. West tonight, FAU, after a confident 6-5 win in comeback fashion, honor 4 of their longtime stays. Anthony Campagne, Daniel Tove, Tommy Zemba, and Gunnar Stevens will all be honored today. It's sure to be a treat in the final time this year from home.
Yeah, I'm so excited. It's our last game of the season, the last chance for FAU to get ready for nationals and regionals and also the College Hockey South playoffs.
Certainly, and UCF today is going to start some of their own seniors, Andrew Cass and net, and they had an impressive performance. They've been one of the better teams in M3 down the stretch, and certainly FAU found that out tonight. Well, you know, yesterday, Christian Kuche was your player to watch, and you were right about the player. He scored a goal yesterday, ended a bit of a dry spell. So who are you really looking for to get going for FAU today?
Number 1 player for FAU that I think is going to go crazy tonight, Tommy Zemba. The senior hasn't scored a point yet today, and I'll look for these Owls to get him his first.
It's always when it's a senior night or a special occasion you find out that scoring happens. I'm going to say we'll get one of the seniors. I don't know who. I like your bet. I'll say Anthony Campagne tonight. For UCF, boy, they had a great role with Jacob Graziati yesterday. Lasky looked terrific. Who on that side are you seeing for them today?
The main guy for UCF that I have is Kevin Flanagan. It took me a while to read my own handwriting. But he was so good yesterday. He was kind of one of the underrated players on the team. He scored once or twice, and he also had assists alongside those. So if you're going to stop the UCF Knights from snatching one on senior night, you need to know where Flanagan is.
Certainly, and with all of the Pregame circumstance, all of the emotions in the air, how does FAU lock in and get this done in their final tune-up before regionals next week?
They need to get their kinks out. They struggled defensively a little bit yesterday, let some easy one go by, and FAU kind of, I don't want to say they struggled to get a footing on offense, but they struggled to put pucks in the net. They were just missing easy shots, and they didn't start getting on until late. But FAU just need to settle down, have fun. It's senior night. It's an exhibition. Just go out there and get some goals scored.
Hockey is always more fun when you get some of your players involved that haven't always done it. That's what we're expecting tonight, and we hope we put on a good show for you here. We're just about set for puck drop for the final time from Boca Ice Center this year. We're going to turn it down to ringside for our PA announcer, Chris, and the announcement of the starting lineups on Owl TV.
Where? To the rim. I don't know.
Simply Awesome, the national anthem on electric guitar. And we get ready for an electric senior night from Boca Ice Center. First, the visiting UCF Knights. They'll turn to their senior netminder, Andrew Cass, out of Peabody, Massachusetts. 14 games this year, 7-5, 1-0 record, a 3.84 goals against average, .885 save percentage. At defense, they'll have Robert Renner, their alternate captain, and Kevin Flanagan. The forward lines, Jacob Graziati, 2 goals yesterday, alongside Jacob Fuller and Aiden Lasky, new this second semester. For your FAU Owls, it's an all-senior starting lineup. At defense, they've got Tommy Zemba and Anthony Campagne. And at forward groups, Aiden Georgiano alongside Daniel Tove. And, of course, Gunnar Stevens in goal. How fitting tonight for these 4 seniors being honored. Let's hope we can send them off the right way from Boca Ice Center. The Owls will go from right to left in their powder blue sweaters with the red buckets and navy blue pants. UCF in their all-black uniforms with the knight on the crest. Here we go for the final time from Boca Raton. It's FAU M2 Hockey on Owl TV. Tommy Zemba has the first touch out of Guilford, Connecticut. 18 games this year, still looking for point number 1. He's the player to watch tonight for Wesley Moore. Starting out of the gates, turnaround try. This one is handled by Stabile. Up top to the point where Zemba has it. Right down memory lane. Campagne is stripped to the puck. Wanted to throw it out in front. It went off the skate blades of the opposing Kevin Flanagan, who gets decked to the boards. Georgiano hops on top. Open lane for Daniel Tove. Fanned his own shot. Got it back in the house. He's collapsed into by a number of players. Campagne shoveled it towards goal wide. Georgiano with the retrieval. Cycle it back to the point. Zemba takes a look to the net. That one whistled just wide. Glove side. Jacob Fuller out of Tampa, Florida, the sophomore. They call him JT. One of the leading scorers for UCF this year. Sends it down length to the ice. It'll just reach past the left post and will get a stoppage for icing. Head coach Christian Long in his 3rd season. Assistant Mark Renner and Josh Haverstrom. The trainer is Mike Flaherty. GM Scott Grosky on hand in his 10th season at the helm. And shout out to their advisor, Mark Hyman, who's been such a great help. Gave us some sweaters, national championship sleeves yesterday. Wes, always a good treat to get gifts from the FAU staff. Here's UCF out to the neutral zone with Colin Jackson. He'll flip it in. All alone as UCF makes their first changes. Owls have a new line out there. Ronan Keenan hands it forward for Biller. Caught by Jackson, Neuendijk, and Bezier. This line has been terrific as of late for the Owls. Bezier from behind the goal, posts up, looks for his options in front. The Owls are spread out, up to the point. Oliverio thinks about a shot, will take one. Blocked down in front, never got there. Carson Mueller at the helm. Thomas Solar out of Jacksonville, Florida. Didn't see him yesterday, but in the lineup tonight for the sophomore. Bolt City Battalion product in the USPHL. Big collision. Jackson Neuendijk is down. He got caught up with Tair Gaffia-Tulin. They all get away, no worse for wear. Keenan stripped to the puck. Taking over is Jackson. Cross-side speed. Solar to the net. Good first stop of the game for the senior netminder, Gunnar Stevens. That one out in front was sprayed wide off the deflection. Oliverio takes over. Long saucer ahead, intended for Shea Keating, and last defender back to collect was Joseph Dre. Captain for UCF. Fights for it in the far corner. Has help on the back end with Fuller. He'll spray it around the far boards. Swing at this side now, and Joseph Kovac, who's there. Tove. Deeper to the middle of the ice. Trying to direct it is Jake Murphy, and he's stolen. Here comes Kovac, the freshman, as his team is changing. Looked for a wrist here, picked up his own deflection, and a crowd had to fight for it all the way to the end boards. In there on the ice, Beckham Buford, sophomore out of Orlando, Florida, number 16 in black. Murphy has it. Wanted to feed it ahead, turned over, and a stick save by Stevens. Tove into the hands of Christian Cuccia. Scored the tying goal yesterday, late in the 3rd. And before the go-ahead from Brady Bezier. Dramatic. 3rd time in as many weeks the Owls have come from behind to win a game. Dump into the zone. Stevens out of his net to play it. Banked it off the boards. David Ross. Whack at it. Sterling for the Knights. Looks to get it ahead. Owls break it out of the zone. Not before Blaze Pepe had pressure from behind. Back and forth in the neutral zone we go. Limited stoppages to start this one. Devin Serra, Wesley Moore live with you for the final time from Boca Ice Center. Owls called this their new home this year in this M3 UCF and M2 Owl matchup. This is Joseph Dre. Has it stolen. Jason Seafelt into the possession of Ross. Gets punched all the way to the UCF bench. Pepe wanted to get a shot towards net. He was stripped of the puck. Justin Sterling. And out to open eyes. Sean Vasiliev has room to work. We've got a whistle and our first penalty of the game for roughing.
See, I like the pace that FAU has stepped out in because they're not going too fast, but they're not going too slow. They're playing very careful and calculated, turning over the puck maybe once or twice already, but they're making their runs. They're making everything that they need to do. And then defensively, they're also playing pretty great. There was one bad turnover that led to a pretty easy shot. Nothing Gunnar Stevens couldn't handle, but still FAU going to play down a man. We'll see how their power kill goes, penalty kill goes.
Aiden Georgia out of the box for roughing. UCF was 2 for 2 on the man advantage yesterday, including a shorthanded goal. They set up shop. Jacob Fuller, far wing. Graziati has it. Up to the point for Kevin Flanagan. Graziati towards the net, looking for the deflection, and Stevens gobbles it up.
That was a great job by Stevens, just staying true and staying home. You kind of let up one there. It was an easy little tip for number 6 on UCF. That was Jacob Fuller right in front, kind of trying to block Gunnar Stevens' view, but great job by Stevens to stay in front.
Fuller should have been accredited for an assist yesterday, and the official scoring table didn't give him it. Look out. A couple of ladies sitting on the far side of the ice nearly got hit. Good to see everyone get away from that. But really, him and Graziati had a jamming play towards the net, and they were a big reason, Fuller, for all of the traffic and trouble that Rocco Bruno got in early in that game.
Yeah, definitely. They were just creating havoc on offense, creating havoc on defense, just creating havoc everywhere. And that's kind of where they found their success. That's how they got their goals.
Good job holding it in from Flanagan twice. Third time at the point. Swing it across. Renner towards the net. Blocked down in front by his own man, Fuller. On top of the puck, Dre. Fought by Oliverio, and he's going to fling it down the length of the ice. And the second unit for the kill will come on. 1:16 left in the first power play of the night for the Knights. Handled by Flanagan. Now headed up ice, left wing. Dre from Pembroke Pines, Florida. Backhanded to Renner. Got it for Flanagan. One-timer, redirection wide. Daniel Tove was in front. One of those 4 seniors being honored tonight. Christian Cuccia tries to go to the backhand, scores! Cuccia! 2 goals in as many nights, gets us started, short-handed.
And Christian Cuccia saw what he wanted, and that was a goal. He knew he was going to shoot that. The backhand shot flipped right over the goaltender's left shoulder pad. That was just a tough angle, tough shot for Cuccia. And a great way for the Owls to start it off on senior night.
6th of the season and 2 in as many games. Great to see for a former M3 Player of the Year. His story has been the slow start he had. Not as many points as you'd expect, but he has gotten it going. A great series, assisting a number of goals against USF, and has goals in the last 2 games. Big start, shorthanded, and the Owls have answered from a Flemington, New Jersey native. UCF still on the man advantage for 22 seconds. With it, Colin Jackson to the middle. Takes one towards the net. Rebound, both times snuffed out by Gunnar Stevens, and he'll glove down the puck as that floated in towards blue paint.
And Christian Cuccia, as an Owl fan, you love to see him get going because that's a guy that can really change the games. A second, third line kind of floater guy that, say, a defense is shutting down your top line at Beige or Neuendijk. You have a guy on your third line or second line that can step in and start scoring as well. So you have more options, you have more fluidity in your offense.
70 points last year with the men's Division III team. Also was part of that CHS All-Star team that went to the France trip. Played 3 games out there and won 2 of them. They've won 3 games, but here is on even strength Stabile. Stripped into the middle. Chance to shoot. Diving play and blocked by Stabile. They all jam away for it, and a crowd at the right dots. Ziemba takes over. Takes a check. Gets it away. And the Owls will service. in the neutral zone, handled by Aiden Lasky, the freshman from New Jersey. Came over in the second semester with Javier Dowd, two guys that are now going to be mainstays as youngsters for UCF. There's a shot saved by Andrew Cass. Went off the back of the goal as he got it with his blocker. Owls reclaim. Stabile tried the turnaround. Blocked in front by Pavanka in the way. Ziemba slid across right side towards the net. Caught a piece of Cass. Ziemba can't hold the point, and the puck will roll on edge all the way to the opposite zone. Zemba honored today. Very impressive winger. Part of the good depth pieces for FAU last year in the national championship run. Seefeld saved by Cass. That one from the kick plate is sent out by the Knights as they look to get established defensively. Jackson Neuendijk right back in. Dropped it to Bezier for Neuendijk. Poke checked. Oliverio has it. Once again, poke checked. And UCF forces a reset for Keenan and company. 12:32 to go. 1-0 game from Christian Cuccia's short-handed goal. Knights are trying to avoid dropping 7 straight to the Owls, dating back to the last 3 seasons. Teams used to be in the same division in AAU, College Hockey South, 2 seasons. And 3 seasons ago, if you count the one where they only had the single men's division. Knights this year sit sole place of 10th in College Hockey South Men's Division III standings. That could fluctuate depending on what happens to Embry-Riddle and Kennesaw State down the stretch in the final week of action here. Centering feed up to the point and misplayed by Oliverio. He has to retreat out to the red line. Cross ice, Keenan. And they'll play tag in their own end of the ice. Joseph Dre emphatically intercepts. Solar through the air. Christian Cuccia, the latest goal scorer, will fly. Shea Keating backhand, perfectly fed. Fought off by Cass. Solar and a crowd want to battle. Carson Mueller, alternate captain, still looking for his first point as well. The senior, 3 on this UCF team out of Rochester, Minnesota. Here's Lasky. Tried to go to the net. In his way was Danny Tove. Declan Catone on the opposite side. Keating with a strip. And ahead for Cuccia, who will race. Play it off his own skate and dump into the zone. Nobody back there except Murphy in a powder blue. Catone from the point. Swings it deeper. Cycle behind. Dre is there. Fought with an Owl and Tove and David Ross. Tove, expect a lot of minutes for those seniors tonight for Christian Long's team. An emphasis to honor so many family members on hand. It was an emotional pregame, 15-minute ceremony. Blaise Pepe toward the net and then wristed wide through the house. David Ross at the opposite end, cuts it deeper. Jamming play, Robert Renner is in there. Scored it free, Graziati couldn't get there in time. Taking over is Vasiliev and Zemba. Off the kick plate, Renner wanted to get it to Graziati. Up for grabs, held on side by Flanagan, the alternate captain for UCF. To the middle, David Ross. One more time, deflection. Last stop came from the skate blade of Gunnar Stevens. Puck is bouncing every which way to start this game, Wes. Fast pace though, we're already halfway gone in the first period. Onside is Renner. In the middle, they jam for it. Another great play by the senior. Look out, shot opportunity, rebound given up, and that one went underneath Stevens wide. Off the rebound. Third line in action, Campagne activates, looking for point number 1. Skated wide and put to the outside. Andrew Cass will smother and will get a stoppage.
And that was just really impressive play by Gunnar Stevens down low in the goal because he had 2 guys. He had his own guy and another guy right in front of him. I believe that was number 16 on UCF. I still don't have 16 on my spotter board. Beckham Bafford. it's just hard, tough save for Gunnar Stevens to make, and he was just in the right place at the right time.
There's a blocker stop by Stevens once again, getting settled in. Turnover by the Owls. It's deep to the zone, and Oliverio had to fight off Joseph Kovac bearing down. Stabile drags back. Has Keenan and Campagna to help with space. Pinch again was Shimoni for UCF. Georgiano's behind the defense. Deep to the trapezoid. Lost handle of the puck. Amadio Pavanka scored his first goal since November 15th yesterday in game 1 against this M2 FAU team. Dump and change for Joshua Shimoni. Campagne, emotional family, has seen him as a leadership member for a number of years. Played for M3 last year, was their captain. Came back this year and was named a CHS European All-Star. Played pretty well out there. In France, Nieuwendyk, Spinorama. He is fun to watch. One of the best additions for FAU in quite a while. Tove, rather Keenan has it. He's going to float a puck to the neutral zone, and seeing that is Flanagan. Robert Renner will back up. Misplayed by Santiago. Into the wickets. Bezier looked for his teammates. Finds a man. Entering the zone, Nieuwendyk. Getting barreled over in that far corner. Robert Renner. To the deck goes the Owls. Leon Biller. Played off the boards. Flanagan sees pressure and he'll fling it out. UCF player Samuel Payne with a chance. Blocker stopped by Stevens. Very impressive start. Stevens' favorite memory for FAU. His overtime win against Farmingdale State in relief of Rocco Bruno a couple of weeks ago. Here's Joseph Dre. He'll cut to the middle. Want to get one towards the net. It's on the skate blade, and an early whistle saves Stevens.
Yeah, that was a great save by Gunnar Stevens. Again, still early in the game, but he's really settled in. Jacob Fuller tried to get in, tried to get him on the backhand, flip it over his pad, but he wasn't able to. And Gunnar Stevens just sticking his pad, staying strong, and a little bit of extracurriculars as Jacob Fuller tried to poke the puck past his pad, but go back to the face-off.
And they whistled that play dead right as Fuller was coming to jam in. Stevens did make the stop, but he was already stretched out, so he didn't have a chance to glove it down. Official gave him benefit of the doubt.
I think the puck might have gotten even like lodged between him and the post, so might have been why the whistle was.
Official Nick Cruz, linesman's Dave Campbell, Alec Herman. That one whistled high off the inboard glass. And Mitch Greer as well, a great officiating crew, has been the mainstay for FAU this year, and they're a pretty consistent bunch, and they're letting them go in this one. Just one penalty, and the Owls scored on their own penalty. Shorthanded from Christian Cuccia early in this first. UCF collects numbers. Aiden Lasky will soar out of the zone. Turnover to Shea Keating. He enters, takes a wrister, wide, off the inboard boards. Cuccia. And nobody in particular could find it. It's going to be icing against UCF, and the faceoff will go back to their own zone. Talked about FAU a lot. UCF head coached by Chris Brewster in his first year, and the Knights right now sitting at 10-12, 1-1, 9-9, 0-1 in division play. But that record is very misleading. They have played very good talent down the stretch. Lost their series to M2 Florida, but took them to overtime. Had it not been for a Florida goal with a minute and a half left in the first game, they would have won that one. And in an upset fashion, and yesterday the Owls had to come from behind down 2 goals twice as Solar and company are offside.
Yeah, I think Florida is actually a really underrated team in M2 in College Hockey South this year because they're really good. And if you see their style of play, I got to watch a little bit of the UCF and Florida game, and it was a really fun game watching Florida, watching their offense go. It's Florida can make a run against FAU and Tampa if they're not careful.
Liam Likashwa is their leading scorer, player of the year candidate, but I think there's a lot of guys you can consider. Noah Horowitz, check. Fortescue. How about Frank Pasquale? I think he deserves Coach of the Year for the job he's done competing with this FAU program, and of course the Tampa Spartans, who were last year's AAU Men's Division I champions. This Owl team won the AAU Division II title a season ago. Turnaround try by Seafeld, scores! Top cheddar for the native of Boca Raton, 2-0 FAU.
And that was such a good job by Jason Seafeld to just track down the puck. Finn Moore kind of just went down into the back half of the ice and then fell down, just kind of flinging the puck to no man's land. Seafeld was there. Seafeld saw the puck. Seafeld scored the goal.
What a feed attempt that was by Finn Moore. Lost the puck initially, got it back out in front, and that's what led to the opportunity for Seafeld to tuck it, his 4th of the year. Former NCAA D3 product of Salem State. Played 41 games with them. And now was within 1 goal. Look out, funky bounce. Nearly caught Stevens off guard. Oliverio helps him out. But Seafeld is within 1 of his career high, I believe, with FAU. And next year would be a senior. It's good to see FAU will keep a lot of their top guys for this year and next. Good to hear Finn Moore get the official assist on it. And Ross as well in the secondary. Kicked in deeper by Stabile. After it is Kovac. And the Knights find themselves down early. Total reversal of what we saw yesterday. Banked off the boards by Kovac. Owls doing a good job with spacing. Campagne collapses in with Oliverio. They'll box out the Knight and Sterling, and we'll get a quick whistle.
This is the exact start FAU really wanted to have. They're seeing pucks well. They're seeing the offense well. The Knights aren't really able to set up much. They've had some good chances. I like what they're doing. Basically just sticking a guy in front of Gunnar Stevens. He's obviously the backup, but he's been on an absolute tear as of late. But they're just trying to make him uncomfortable, and he's made some good saves to start.
Nick Oliverio to the box for high sticking. 4:05 to go in this first period. Owls had a shorthanded goal earlier from Christian Cuccia. Tracking it down is Neuendijk. He strips it, has a man out in front for a shot. What a save by Cass. He had at point blank range Leon Biller. Owls bidding for some shorties here early. Aggressive forecheck, forcing Graziati and company retreat. Flanagan now finally gets some space as Joseph Dre will turn away from defenders. That's the kind of effort that you can expect next weekend against Miami of Ohio in the regional. Here's an attempt, scores! Kevin Flanagan with a quick wrister gets the Knights within 1 on the man advantage.
Yeah, Kevin Flanagan, the player to watch for this game. He's as dangerous as the rest of them. FAU kind of struggled to pick up Flanagan as he was streaking down the ice on the power play. He had all the time in the world to just set up and fire that one right above Stevens' left shoulder. Nothing he could really do about that one as UCF gets one back on FAU. 2-1 game.
Third power play goal for UCF, and you know, they've scored on every man advantage opportunity they've had this weekend. Yesterday we had one from Beckham Buford, Amadio Pavanka, and now Kevin Flanagan. Here's a chance to the front of the net by Finn Moore. Tommy Zemba can't handle it at the blue line. He's got all kinds of pressure from Jacob Fuller. Make no mistake, this UCF team is scrappy. They showed that a bunch yesterday. Punch, counter punch, and then some. Feel the momentum swing. Gaffiatulin in the middle, looking for the redirection, was Pavanka with players out in front. Solar and Fuller. No deck. The opposite D-man, Finn Moore, forces a clear out for Zemba. Played with the high stick by Murphy, and that forced a stoppage as Shea Keating touched the puck. And I'll correct myself, power play goes yesterday from Graziati and Pavanka. Also with a shorthanded was Graziati. But for FAU, we've talked about kind of their discipline problems. They've taken a lot of penalties against some M2 opponents, but when they haven't taken a lot of penalties, it seems like they almost get scored on more.
Yeah, the FAU is almost as dangerous off the penalty. I feel like it's kind of a, I don't want to say it's an intensity thing, but I want to say it's like when FAU tries harder, it feels like they're getting more penalties against them. And then, of course, it's an ACHA M2 program, so they're not going to be as disciplined as watching a Michigan team who tries and doesn't get penalized much. But, at the end of the day, they're still young. They're in college. You're not going to be completely polished. And if you're going all out, there's going to be one or two little mistakes that sends them to the penalty box. That's just kind of how ACHA hockey is.
Let me give you this food for thought. They had 254 combined penalty minutes against Tampa in Game 1 last weekend. But Jackson Nieuwendyk is in one of their best when they've been a man up. Even strength right now with 1:36 to go in the first. Leon Biller dances away from Flanagan. But the Knights will take over. Head pass connects for Buford. And Ronan Keenan steers it away. Dre will look to re-enter at the far wing to the middle. Poke checked aside by Ross. Keenan gets to it. Plays it from the boards to Seefeld. Backhanded under to Pepe. And backtracking is Oliverio to help with the breakout. David Ross stopped with that roadblock of Dre. Declan Catone wants to play it ahead, connects with Seefeld. Has the second goal of this contest. Nice feed in front for Pepe, and he couldn't handle it and get the shot off. UCF has numbers the other way. To the middle, towards the net. Pad stop by Stevens, sprayed to the far boards. Seefeld with Kovac pinching in at the logo. Sent in by Sterling. Tove lets Stevens for a second think about playing it, and better of it, allows Seefeld to direct it. Tough angle try underneath Sterling to the end boards. Georgiano, 20 seconds to go in the period. Left wing, he's got Pepe in the middle. Takes the wrister. Blocker stopped by Cass, but it was very close to getting under him. 10 seconds left in the period. Flanagan looks to evade Georgiano, and Tove doesn't hold it in, but an emphatic start to this game. Short-handed Christian Cuccia, followed up by Jason Seefeld. Kevin Flanagan gets UCF closer on the power play. Their third and as many tries this weekend for the Plantation, Florida native. Senior night at FAU, final time from Boca. Owls look to hold on and walk out of here with a statement for the regional tournament next week. We'll resume in 15 minutes. You're watching Florida Atlantic M2, UCF M3 on Owl TV. Let's talk about Anthony Campagna out of the break.
Okay.
It's a festive evening from Boca Raton, Florida, as FAU has the lead 2-1 at the end of 20 minutes. Started by Christian Cuccia, shorthanded, followed up by Jason Seafelt and Kevin Flanagan, the latest for UCF on the power play. Devin Serra alongside Wesley Moore, and with a senior night, it is so emotional for everybody, but especially one of the most longevity tenures for FAU, and Anthony Campagna. East Setauket, New York, he calls home. His parents, Trisha, his father, Tony, his sister, Sophia, all on hand, got to celebrate pregame. I had the chance to catch up with them and talk about their son. And, you know, the biggest thing they credited with is Bim, they call him. Kind of a weird nickname. David Urser used to call him Tim. They said he was such a scrappy player in high school, smaller than everybody else, didn't really get a lot of junior looks, and to be the role he's had on this M2 program, M3 last year, he's really been a great leader to watch and is one of the favorites among this FAU program.
Yeah, definitely. He's one of my favorite players on this team to watch. The way he plays, he's a leader. You can tell on and off the ice, the way he affects the puck, the way he affects his defense, the way that he gets everybody set. He just plays with heart, and he plays with his heart on his sleeve. What you see of him is what he's going to play with. And Anthony Campagna, seeing him in one last home game here, hopefully he'll be one of them that gets a goal, but he's given everything to this program, and the program's returned to him.
A great story. If you ever feel underestimated, overlooked, he is a beautiful example of hard work and dedication, and thanks to his time for all of the work in building FAU into one of the mainstay programs of College Hockey South and now the ACHA. This is Ronan Keenan, transfer out of UNLV. His glove stopped by Andrew Cass in net, and Cass had a busy first period, seeing 9 FAU shots to UCF's 15. Bit of an interesting shot total comparison, but Gunnar Stevens has stood tall when he's needed to. Had it been for that Kenneth Flanagan goal, he would be without a tally in the back of his net. Knights are offside once again, as stretching in too far was Robert Renner.
Yeah, I think they just tried to set up a little bit too carefully there, and he had a player step just barely offsides. Good call by the referee to call that one. But Gunnar Stevens, I want to go back to him. He played so well against Farmingdale in that OT victory, come from behind, when because Rocco Bruno was thrown out of that game. But he's been so good as of late. He had one struggle game, and then he played against Farmingdale, and he played awesome. And now he's back here, and he's playing great again. And how great does it feel for FAU to know that you have 2 goaltenders that can give you quality start night in, night out?
There's a good glove stop on Jacob Fuller, bearing down, and wins over Georgia Tech, Miami. Talked about the Farmingdale State game. He really is another example of doesn't get as much ice time. Rocco, everybody talks about his personality, but what Gunnar brings feels like a lot of that personality, a lot of that leadership. He's consistent. He's always going to get the job done if you need him in net, and he's done that so far in this game. It's a 2-1 score in favor of FAU. Falmouth, Massachusetts native is where he calls home. Into the low slot, Solar tried to jam it towards that. He was cut off. Owls with speed. Leon Biller gets sandwiched between 2 defenders and goes sliding down. Diving mid by Aiden Lasky. And look out, we had a quick whistle for that. And we'll see if anything came of it. I don't think so. Crashing down was also Joseph Dre. Good to see everybody skate away. Here's a chance for Neuendijk, and a ripper is denied by Cass. And Andrew Cass himself makes up 3 seniors on this UCF team. They will get ready to play in 2 weeks' time at the CHS playoffs in Coral Springs, Florida. FAU will also feature in a round-robin style tournament. That one snapped over into the netting by Brady Bezier. But for UCF right now, number 10 in the division, they are kind of waiting for some other games to wrap up. Kennesaw State had a dramatic game against South Carolina and finishing up this weekend. Close results. Currently ahead of those Owls, Kennesaw State, and then Miami at the 12th spot, number 60 in the country. Then it's Vanderbilt and Lynn bringing up the rear. Salar looked to snap one towards the net. It was denied by Tove in the shooting lane. Owls clogged the middle of the ice. Getting after it is Declan Catone. Bank it off the board, sailed high, and on top and getting to it, Leon Biller, the captain out of Gothenburg, Sweden. Drop pass for Baser. Return feed for Biller, just missed him. Taking over, Amadio Pavanka out of Gainesville. For Solar. Dropped it to nobody except the powder blue sweater. Neuendijk will take that all day. Kochia for Baser to the middle. He gets pressed into, and a knifing play by the stick of Andrew Cass in goal. Redirection wide of net. Dre shadows Kochia. He'll take it to the outside. Reset up top to the point. Keating down low for Neuendijk. Off his skate blade, kicked it to the end boards. Looks to drag. In front of him is Renner in the way. And Solar has it with room to work. The Knights at the logo take over. Javier Dowd, one of two newcomers in the second semester, along with Aiden Lasky. Talking to head coach Chris Brewster, he told me two guys that Joseph Dre, captain for UCF, know very well. And Aiden Lasky, of course, paired up with some notable guys, Graziati, Jacob Fuller. They have been playing terrific so far with him. He's been a great addition. 7 games, 4 goals, and 3 assists out of New Jersey. Former product in the EHL with the 67s. Keating, down low. Sprayed wide, away by Joshua Shimoni. Murphy, cut it deeper to Kochia. That one went off the outside of the post. Andrew Cass slowed it down, and it just rained the iron. As a counterattack, blocker stop from Gunnar Stevens. Doesn't know where the puck is. Kovac and UCF trying to push it to the front of the net, and they did a couple of times. From the point, that one's rebound given up, down but not out. Stevens, and collecting under the legs, Beckham Buffart resets. He'll cut it up top, shot towards the net, and snuffed out with the glove of the senior netminder.
And that was such a great stand by Gunnar Stevens himself to just stand in there and just be strong, know where the puck is at all times, and knock it down when you need to. Gunnar Stevens strong in the net. And I just want to also go back to the recognition on defense by Joseph Dre. When they have the Knights have had a breakaway, they step in, there's 4 going up, and Brady Bazier kind of stayed back a little, waiting for a little bit of a jump chance, and Joseph Dre was back there to shut him down. It was great recognition for the defense for the Knights.
Captain as one of the best defensemen in college hockey south. He just took away a chance for Jason Seefeld. He goes to work in the corner. David Ross gets after it. Blaise Pepe with support. All over him, gaffing a tool in. Joseph Dre steers the puck for Justin Sterling. And a dump and chase, Samuel Payne against Ronan Keenan. Ross takes over. Got it to Seefeld. Quick movement from Pepe, stolen. Santiago, push it to the near boards. Left side chance. Owls pinch in, collapse. Gunnar Stevens has it with all kinds of pressure from Justin Sterling.
And that puck has taken a lot of weird bounces. UCF is doing a good job of placing a guy in the right spot in order to try to get a deflection. The chances haven't been there straight up for UCF, but a lot of their goals have come from just sticking a guy in the right spot, knowing where the puck's going to go, and they're setting up plays brilliantly for UCF.
And that's a lot of what Chris Brewster commended to us, as he likes to activate his D. They get people to the puck and meet, beat, and chase, their philosophy for the former scout out of Oswego State. Chris Brewster is such a great coach. Hope he gets Coach of the Year looks at some point. UCF having an up and down year, but they are firmly in the CHS playoff picture. Graziati into the offensive zone, dropped it off, centering feed in front. Flanagan was negated by Danny Tove. What a game it's been for one of the 4 seniors. Here's Graziati, head pass, just too far as Fuller sauced it at him. A reset, forwarded for Campagne. Cross ice, fed it, Georgiano. Here comes him and Tove to the middle. Georgiano backed it up. Miscommunicated with Stabile. Thomas Solar, trailed by his other forward, Lasky. Solar goes wide. Put it off the glass. Stabile after. Colin Jackson meets him. UCF, a good last 3 minutes. One-timer blast over the top of the cage. Reverse hit laid. Solar to the deck goes Zemba. And Georgiano forces it out to the red line. 14:02 to go in this second. FAU up 2-1. From 3 goals on both sides in the first. Sharp angle. Solar missed the cage. Put it deeper, Bavanka. Solar, active shift for him. Has options. Redirected wide. Zemba, and intercepted by Biller emphatically in the low slot. Solar, Ziemba on top. Daniel Tove, out of the air. Nearly played with a high stick. Bezier lost his stick, got it back. Biller played it off the boards, has help coming from the bench, takes a shot, rebound given up. Over top, the bouncing puck went from Bezier. Neuendijk sees a lane, fought off by Cass. Picked up his own rebound though. Biller with another try. Over top and into the netting it goes.
And the thing I really like about FAU's offense is they like to drive it in, and they have 1 or 2 options when you drive the puck in towards the net. You can either take the shot, which is what they've been doing, or you can kick it out to one of your opponents who also has a wide open net. And the thing is, when you do that, is their top players, Neuendijk, Bezier, they're drawing a lot of attention when they're driving in. So those players on the outside are getting those wide open looks and giving up the rebounds, while there's people in front of the net that might not just be your own player deflecting the goalie.
Sometimes it's what you don't do with the puck that matters just as much when you have it. And Neuendijk and this top line done the majority of scoring in the second half. Neuendijk getting player of the year looks for his impressive run with the team. Transfer out of NCAA. Canisius up the boards. Kovac played it to the red line. Here comes Joshua Shimoni to the middle. Chance for Flanagan for 2. Gunnar Stevens says no. Biller steered across to the half boards, and Kovac had it stripped with Neuendijk. Biller lost it from his glove. Takes a shot. Sharp angle. Fought off by Cass once more. And the Knights have room to work. Armando Santiago. Confident pad stop by Stevens. Handled Sterling. Stick lifted. Dropped it off to Renner in front. Another try. Sprayed wide off a leg in front. Hooked down on the play is Kuchia, and that's going to draw a penalty.
I think that was a good penalty taken by UCF as well, because there was nobody there to prevent Kuchia from going on a one-on-one rush with the goaltender. So UCF had to take that penalty, and they did. But now they got to fight off 2 minutes of a very powerful FAU power play.
Owls went 1 for 2 yesterday on the man advantage. They have a shorthanded goal in this game. And starting out will be the senior, Daniel Tove, along with Kuchia and Ross. 3 of the forwards activate in this corner. Dre slamming hit on Kuchia, but it's flipped out of play by the Knights. Tahir Gaffiatulin.
Yeah, the puck's going to stay in the FAU, and FAU just need to stay composed for this power play, because as dangerous as UCF is on the power play, they are dangerous as well on the penalty kill. They have a shorthanded goal yesterday, and FAU cannot afford to give another one up.
Face-off win. Kuchia left the play for Keenan. Left side, Georgiano. In the middle for David Ross. Blocked by his own man in Tove. Traffic from the captain, Joseph Dre. Keenan directs right side. Kuchia in the middle. Ross fanned on a wrister. Got it back for Keenan. Sprayed wide from a leg out in front. That was Aiden Lasky playing active with the stick. Kuchia for Keenan. Calling for it. Georgiano takes one to the net. Dre steered it away from the goal. Daniel Tove with the retrieval. Kuchia for Keenan. Once more to Kuchia. Scored in his last 2 games and had the shorty to start this contest. Tove once more. Keenan calls for it. Looks to the net. Fakes it. Gets Kuchia. Patient movement by the Owls. Right side chance. Blocked by Dre. Off the leg. Moving up to the point. Up but not out. Keenan holding this in. 1 minute gone in the power play. Kuchia. Keenan. Sidesteps the defending Lasky. Now once more takes it down the ladder. Ross in front with Graziati. And there will be a battle in this near corner. Daniel Tove, supported by Kuchia, pokes it free. Tapped for Georgiano to the boards. Kuchia deeper in the zone. Has Keenan. Wants him at the top of the left dots. Across for Georgiano. Gives it back to Keenan. Packing the house, UCF. A try to the net. Whistled wide. Georgiano. Gaffiatulin past him. Daniel Tove. A long power play with no stoppage. 5 seconds left. Murphy has a toe drag. Chance to the net. And whistled wide once again. This is Lasky with a man out of the box. Nearly had a chance. Murphy with the retrieval. And unable to hold it onside is David Ross. Graziati with the pressure. Jackson support. Georgiano will flip into the zone. Chase for Baser. He'll get there first. Newendike on the opposite wing. Top line back out there for the Owls. Jake Murphy out of the power play. Halfway gone in the second period on senior night. Newendike dances away from defenders. Oliverio hooks it to the front of the net. And a redirection sprayed wide. Baser and this UCF team cannot get out of their own zone. One-timer blast in and out of the hand of Cass. And Biller tried to put one back out in front. And the defender in the way was Gaffiatulin. Murphy can't hold it, so back out to the red line is Oliverio. An excellent last 3 and 4 minutes of action. 2-1 score. FAUM 2, UCFM 3. Both trying to finish their regular seasons on a high note. Newendike from the end boards. After it is Biller. Directed towards Murphy. One off Solar's skate. Out in front, a man alone, Newendike! Denied by Cass. Biller and Baser with a move by Gaffiatulin, but it went into the Owls bench, and that's going to keep this puck in the zone.
And yeah, UCF gets to skate off the ice in a very much needed break for their defenders. They had a lot of ice time there as FAU just did not leave the UCF zone. They were just circling the puck very well, not turning it over much and not letting any real chances for UCF to take a break, but FAU is just controlling.
David Ross nearly deflected that one in goal. Went off the outside of the net. Seefeld takes a check hard from Robert Renner. A crowd gathers. They go to work on this side of the ice in front of a packed FAU crowd for the last regular season game at Boca Ice Center. Kevin Flanagan swooping in. Pepe. Renner for Kovac, and the Knights are out. They'll move it all the way to Gunnar Stevens. He has to glove it down on his own deflection. Beckert Bufar made it tough. And UCF, we talked a lot about kind of their movement at the coaching positions. Chris Brewster replaced Anthony Mariani after him and assistant coach Shane O'Donnell stepped down last July. And you think about where UCF is as a program right in the thick of this conference race. Their only chance to get to nationals is to win the conference tournament. But when I spoke to Chris Brewster in the pregame, he really believes that it's anybody's game, and they don't care who they have to play, whether it's a USF or a Middle Tennessee at some point. They believe they have a chance in any game they play, and they've shown that against some good M2 teams. Last week against Florida, a hard out, and right now trying to erase a 2-goal advantage for the Owls. Flanagan got them one closer late in the first on the power play. Sterling moves in. Out of the air, played by Seefeld. Into the grasp of Tove. Gave it right back to the sweaters in black, going right to left. Chris Hill, dump and chase for Sterling. Against Tove. Meets him there at the part of the end boards. Own collision. That was Stabile who gets it free. Clean exit for Campagne, the senior, former captain of the M3 squad, forced Cass to move it to the half boards. Georgiano has it back, looks behind. Campagne's out in front, and he steered that on a float into the hand for a pop fly to Cass.
Yeah, definitely, especially with like Lynn, UCF, a lot of those teams on the bottom part of the College Hockey South, it's almost impossible to have to overlook them because of how good they are, especially this team you just mentioned. They're playing a lot of good M2 teams and hanging with them. I mean, obviously, it's College Hockey South is pretty much, M3 is controlled by Middle Tennessee and Clemson and a lot of really good teams, but might be upset central.
Oh, here we go. We got some pushing and shoving. Amadio Pavanka took exception to the extra wax. That was Stabile in there. And Cass did enough to glove that down on his near post. First time we've seen that all game. Both these teams have had a fast pace to this game. 6:17 left in the second period. And for UCF, you want to talk about tune-ups. When you play Florida M2, their last win came against the M3 FAU team on January 31st, 7-1 domination. Split series with Embry-Riddle, losses to South Carolina, who could win a national championship this year in Men's Division III. They will be a tough out, whoever has to play them in playoffs 2 weeks' time in Coral Springs, Florida.
And if you remember the battle at the beach, Embry-Riddle actually beat this FAU M2 team on their path to a loss, I believe, to Tampa. But no team in M3 College Hockey South should be overlooked.
UCF used to be AAU Division II opponents with FAU a season ago. And they're trying to avoid dropping 7 straight to this Owl team tonight. Aiden Lasky dove from his feet, taken down. Tommy Zemba. Kuchia blew a tire trying to give that return feed. Graziati gets past the defense. Has a chance. Right wing side. Shoulder stopped by Stevens. And it went into the netting.
And that was a great job by Stevens again, standing tall in the goal. He just saw where the puck was going. It was almost like he knew where it was going. And he just lifted that shoulder up, deflected the puck out of play. Another really impressive save by Gunnar Stevens. No one in front to block his view.
6th game of the season for him. 3-2-0 record, trying to make it 4. And what's been limited numbers. Here's Brady Bazier to the middle of the ice. One man to beat. Flanagan held with him all the way to the blue crease, and he never got the shot off. It's steered out by Thomas Solar to give some breathing room. Andrew Cass took a face full of snow. Jackson Neuendijk. Shifty moves. Bazier behind. Taken away by Colin Jackson, number 4 in black. Cut it deeper to the Owls' end of the ice. Keenan finishing the check. Solar. Met at the half boards. Head feed for Neuendijk. He's going to force an icing from Robert Renner. 4:43 to go. Final time on Owl TV for our great production staff. Mitch Liswith, Wes Moore color, Devin Serra with you. And for the Florida Atlantic Owls, this is a tune-up like we've talked about. Will not count for any standings. Their rank is final. Number 4 in the Southeast region. They'll travel to Queens City Sportsplex in Cincinnati, Ohio next week to take on the Miami, Ohio Redhawks. First game of regionals. You need to win 2 to go on to the national tournament in St. Louis, Missouri. Win or go home. Settled down by Keenan. Bazier takes over for Neuendijk. Nice feed to Biller. Left side, he's got a lane to shoot on the backhand. That one off the post. Thomas Solar. And UCF with a counterattack. Blowing a tire is the opposite for Oliverio. Steered wide. On top, Neuendijk wants a second chance, and he'll get it with Pepe blowing a tire. Might have gotten taken down with the active stick of Gaffiatulin. Everyone works. Turning it away is Renner. He'll play D-to-D with Jackson. Ahead, Solar. Nice move to get past David Ross. Jackson on side. Right wing for the Knights. Into the slot. Crowd of Owls take away the lane. and played out. 2-on-1 will develop here. Pepe spreading out. Seefeld in the middle. Last defender was Joseph Dre. I will set up. Catone steered away. Nearly caught Dre in the face. Active 6. UCF can't get it out. Saved by Cass. Stick knocked down. Pepe redirected Tove. Now David Ross at the line. Calling for it up top is Tove. He'll get it. The senior takes one to the net. Blocked by his own man, Seefeld. Wide to the boards. Dre smushed into. Active in the play, Javier Dowd for UCF. Moved up the boards by Robert Renner, the alternate captain of Davie, Florida. 2:48 to go in the second period. FAU up 2-1. Still no score in this second frame. It's been FAU with all the chances back from their power play 5 minutes ago. Gaffia-Tulin up but not out. Finmore holds it onside. Zemba, soft touch with UCF numbers on the far wing. Kovac lost his own possession and gave it right back to the Owls. Zemba headed for Stabile. Sharp angle try. Cass doesn't know where it is. They pick up the rebound, a chance, and a man can get there was Renner. Down low, one more shot, outside, Campagne. They all scramble for it. Renner's down. Gaffia-Tulin held onside by Finmore. A retrieval. Georgiano to the middle. Robert Renner clogged the passing lane in the slot. Finmore wants a shot. They pinch down on him. Justin Sterling in the way. He'll get to the opposite end. This is Kovac with it. Entrance. Shot whistled wide from the far post. Armando Santiago takes over. He'll cut on net, and Stevens stops all of that.
Now we're having some fun in FAU versus UCF hockey. That was a great save by the goaltender for UCF. Andrew Cass, he was just tracking down the puck, making sure he knew where it was, and he had to dive out to stop an FAU shot from going in. So much pressure on the goaltender Cass standing tall.
One shutout on the year to Cass's name. There's a save off the face-off draw. That shot came from Robert Renner. 7 wins on the year. Andrew Cass has been a stalwart for UCF in net. He'll get a chance to lead his team in the playoffs. Look at this long feed. Robert Renner has players coming to the middle. Broken up at the last second. Great job getting in the way of the night, Samuel Payne. That was Murphy. One-timer look for Cuccia. Put it wide of goal. One more time centered up. Keenan trying to find Shea Keating. Owls are so close, but kind of like you said yesterday, Wes, they're having a hard time finding the net.
Yeah, I think they're getting their fair share of shots in, but nothing's falling for them.
Bazier has a look past the defense. Bazier to the backhand at the last moment, stripped by Flanagan. That is an alternate captain senior making a great play for UCF. 25 seconds to go in the period. Aiden Lasky against a crowd. This will be Catone to race back. Steered for Tove. UCF, Fuller with the steal. Graziati out in front. Leon Biller denied. One last rush, 7 seconds to go in the period. Owls, Tove, left side, Biller, out in front. Cast denied on the short post. Time will expire in a fun second period. FAU holds the lead, but UCF is right there, knocking. Will enter the final 20 in the regular season coming up. Owls looking for wins in 7 straight against UCF and a closeout for 4 straight dubs. You're watching Florida Atlantic M2 and UCF M3 on senior night on Owl TV.
Hey, you got to put your helmet back on. David, put your helmet back on.
the line, to the wall, rubbed out. That pass handcuffs. Shoveled by, picked off to the end wall. We'll swing it. We'll fork it. Mitch!
Mitch! Thank you, Mitch.
Third period on tap for the final 20-minute tune-up before the M2 Owls have a date with the Miami Redhawks for the ACHA Regional Tournament. Devin Serra alongside Wes Moore, a 2-1 lead for FAU. Both goals came all the way back in the first period. Short-handed Christian Cuccia, Jason Seifert followed. What have you liked from their play so far?
I like the pace that they've played at. They haven't rushed anything way too much, and they haven't been playing too slow. They're playing at that perfect moment where they're finding everybody. They're all working in sync together. On the opposite side, UCF is playing great defense. Honestly, they're all rotating very well. They're all finding their players perfectly. So a lot of those chances that FAU has had, they've missed, but I feel like a lot of those misses have been indirectly affected by a UCF player. So either a UCF player standing in front of the net, making them have to take a hard angle and they're going off the post, or a UCF player is rushing in on the FAU player taking the shot, and they're just missing. So I don't think it's a lack of FAU missing their shots at this moment. I think it's UCF playing great defense, indirectly affecting the puck movement for FAU.
Despite the Owls out-chancing UCF, they're being outshot in this game at the moment, 28-19 by UCF. And Gunnar Stevens, credit to him on senior night, has been up to the test.
Yeah, Gunnar Stevens has been absolutely electric this game so far. It really doesn't seem like UCF has more shots than FAU, but UCF has had more quality shots. They've placed a lot of pucks in front of the net for Gunnar Stevens to make a tough save, and he's done it. He stood tall.
Flip sides of the ice, the Owls in their powder blue sweaters will go right to left as they started this game. UCF down by 1, but scrappy and fighting to avoid dropping 7 straight to this Owl group from left to right in the black sweaters. Final 20 minutes of the regular season. Let's see if the Owls can close this one and send their parents, supporters, and family home happy. Nieuwendyk to dig in, and here we go for the final time at Boca Ice Center this season. Jackson Nieuwendyk will swoop, hit the line, onside to the middle, Brady Basier. Stutter stepped through defenders, but was foiled by Fuller. He'll get it back for Oliverio at the center zone. Back inside comes the Owls. They have outchanced UCF, and they have had the majority of the possession time. But UCF, as Wes mentioned, have had some great defensive work, most notably by their leaders, Fuller, Joseph Dre, and company. This is Brady Basier. Leaves it for Nieuwendyk. Gave one to Biller across. That pass handcuffed him for a moment. Fed it for Biller. Intercepted and negated by Robert Renner. Put it down the length of the ice. This will reach the trapezoid, and icing is whistled.
And already FAU's coming out quick and fast. They're making sure they get their fair share of shots on the goaltender for UCF tonight, Andrew Cass. He's standing tall, and so is the UCF defense.
It's a senior versus senior netminder matchup. Neither side wanting to give an inch. Andrew Cass has been tested a lot, and the second faced 10 FAU shots and stopped all of them. Daniel Tove, one of the 4 seniors honored tonight for FAU. Into that corner. It's a tie-up with Flanagan. Worked free. And UCF out to center ice. Over to Logo with making changes. Robert Renner sends one on net. And Gunnar Stevens picked up his own rebound out of the air.
Another chance by UCF. I feel like that's a lot of the chances that UCF has had tonight, because they're getting those one-on-one rushes. They're setting up a play when FAU crumbles down and their defense breaks down a little bit more. Nifty move by Renner to get by Cuccia.
Defenseman from Davie, Florida, here in South Florida. The alternate captain also played NCAA Division III college at King's College and was tied for the team lead in goals a season ago for UCF. He's right now outdone himself with 11 goals, 24 points overall. In the attack comes the Knights. Stripped. Shake Keating gets to it at the Boca logo. Will enter the zone. To the middle. Down memory lane. And Cass stops all of that.
And that was great defense by UCF again, just affecting the puck. That's what they do well. Shane Keating is cutting into towards the net, and then UCF is just blocking the puck away. One of the keys to success for
Hey,
UCF.
this is the third game. How long were we here till last night? 1 in the morning?
We're here late yesterday.
Great call, by the way, in that Lynn versus FAU game that got chippy at the very end.
It was a fun one to watch, FAU and Lynn in the Battle of Boca. But the puck support against the walls for FAU. FAU needs to go in and win those battles. UCF, if they can do that, they're going to win it.
And that time battled too hard by UCF's Beckham Buford going to the box for cross-checking. Owls get their second look on the power play, 0 for 1. Early second had a chance with a non-stoppage power play. They start it with Brady Bezier. Jake Murphy at the point. Steered wide by Cass in goal. Murphy cut it deeper to Biller. Had it. Flanagan pressed him. The retrieval work from Keating. Neuendijk battled, and UCF at the point. Great job by Robert Renner to pinch at the point and force it back to Stevens' end of the ice. Brady Bezier can fly. The speedster cuts wide. In front! Went to the forehand and didn't get the shot off. Would have had an open cage to shoot. Neuendijk swoops wide. Murphy has it to the net. Knocked down in front, and Keating might have been the less fortunate one. Unable to jam it. 1 minute left in the second man advantage of the Knights. For FAU. To the wall. One-timer. Neuendijk sets it up and sprayed it off the end wall. Knights are out. Second penalty kill group will come on as Neuendijk will be the lone changer for FAU.
And I like what FAU is doing here on offense. They're setting up in kind of a 1-3-1 kind of setup. That way you got guys straight down the middle, and then you have guys on the wings to fire shots in and try to get deflections. It's great offense by FAU.
Georgiano for Murphy to the middle. Hit a number of legs and cut wide to the trapezoid. Into the hands of Biller. Looks out in front. Murphy had it, gave it to Georgiano, the sophomore. Plays tag at the point. Right side, Bezier with a lane. And deflected wide by Joseph Dre. Out to the neutral zone. Georgiano will be hustled out of the box. Buford. And 0 for 2. The Owls tonight on their power plays. Roden Keenan. Oliverio stood up by Solar. Got the puck ahead anyway to the offensive zone. Into Campagne's grasp. Had it, lost it. And a long dump out by Dre. Look out, huge shoulder. Oliverio hitting the deck. Buford. Biggest hit we've seen tonight. Whistles wide, right side from Campagne. They'll get active in the neutral zone. Keenan steers it away from defenders. Oliverio swoops in. Knocked down by Flanagan, and it trickles in on Andrew Cass.
You just mentioned Nick Oliverio, the big hit of the night. He was another one of the FAU players that went over to Europe to play for the College Hockey South All-Stars. And Nick Oliverio is just a big physical defenseman. And he's good with the puck, too. He's exactly the player FAU likes to have. He shows leadership on and off the ice.
Player of the Year candidate. Oliverio steps into one. Blocks all over the place for UCF. To the middle, Seefeld couldn't find it down the ladder. UCF out with Fuller. Long chance from the half boards. Goes wide of the paint. Smothering hit in the middle. Stevens once, twice, put through his own crease. Fuller once more, redirected. Way into the air. A puck that's been flying every which direction somehow doesn't find the back of the net.
That's just the movement and the passing and the knowledge of knowing where your defense is by UCF. They're really just trying to score by putting it in and trying to get the deflection, because it's so hard to track down a puck where you know where it's going and then all of a sudden it's somewhere else.
Face-off win for the Knights. Towards the net. Low pad stop for Stevens. Another try off the top of the crossbar. Hit the stanchion. Every which way UCF tries to get this on net. Zip, zap, zoodle. It's out of play.
It's deflection after deflection after deflection. UCF. Sometimes you're lucky, but it's not always the most efficient way to score.
Keeps our head on a swivel for this packed crowd at Boca Ice Center. Parents traveled as far as New York to be here tonight and see their Owls one last time in the regular season. Neuendijk broken up by Fuller. Biller helped him in the middle. Up for grabs and a closing gap by three Knights players. Force it to the opposite zone. Daniel Tove tipped to the red line by Bezier into the Knights zone. Bouncing puck. Steering away is Samuel Payne. Jacob Fuller in front. Picked off by Tove. Steer to the opposite near corner this time. Flanagan is in there. Fuller looking to get it out towards Payne. Steered away by Catone. And the Owls force the Knights to reset. Pavanka right back in for the play. Settled down by Stevens. Given to Finn Moore. This freshman out of Colorado for Tove. Doug for Payne. Orlando, Florida native, number 11 in black, active in the Owl zone, but Neuendijk has Biller. Takes a whack from Santiago from behind, and Pavanka is there to clean it up from the half boards. Went into the UCF bench, and that'll stop play. 12:48 left to go in this third. Next up for the Owls is the regional tournament. You can watch that game at 3 p.m. Eastern time from the Queen City Sportsplex, where they'll take on the Miami, Ohio Redhawks. They are the number 14 seed in the Southeast region, saved by Cass. And the Redhawks finished as the runner-ups in the Tri-States Collegiate Hockey League to Ohio University, who's the number 3 seed.
Yeah, that's FAU's real first look at true Northern Midwestern hockey. So it'll be a great test for them and a great spotlight for FAU to land some recruits if they can get some wins.
From the eye test, two teams that play a similar style, run and gun, can score off the rush, but make no mistake, Miami, Ohio is a physical team, and the Owls are going to either need their top guys to be those top guys, or the depth is going to have to keep them in it. And Rocco Bruno expected to start in that game next week. Gunnar Stevens, of course, gets the nod on senior night here at Boca Ice Center. Tommy Zemba, also one of the 4 seniors honored tonight. He's out there playing D with Finn Moore. Jake Murphy slots in to the forward groups. That hybrid role picked off by Joseph Dre at the neutral zone. At the far wing, forked in by Pavanka. Kept to the outside by Murphy. Solar is there. Murphy back behind the goal. Finn Moore, sandwiched by Mueller and Pavanka. Owls, long head pass, Cuccia. Scored shorthanded, the opening goal of this game. Stood up, Joseph Dre blocked him. And once again, Andrew Cass takes a sliding puck in.
And Devin, yeah, I really like the forecheck. It's very aggressive for UCF. Every time the puck is down low and FAU's trying to regroup and play it up, they're just getting hit, and somebody is always on an FAU player there. They just manage to find the open guy, but still UCF bearing down on their defense, trying to turn some defense into offense.
And their defensemen are known for getting active. It's a 5-man unit that a lot of this year has had scoring from the defensemen. Pavanka had a goal yesterday. Robert Renner is close for the team lead in points. And Kevin Flanagan's all over. There's a scramble, and Cass has got it confidently. A last-minute shove. Campagne took exception to Bryce Bessiker, rather Thomas Solar, but they'll all skid away no worse for wear. Campagne is a feisty guy. Sets the tone.
Undersized guys sometimes got to get a little feisty in there.
See the lines that's slipping in there. Give some space, guys. Ronan Keenan thought about taking a shot. Jackson was ready to get in front of that. Stepped into by Oliverio. Low pad stopped by Cass. Retrieval. Campagne once more. Oliverio off the end wall glass. Held on side with Keenan. Campagne to the outside. Looking for Georgiano. Keenan with a reset. In front, deflected off the backside of Flanagan in the way. And put out. Mueller up but not out. And glove caught by Andrew Cass.
Another thing I really like about the UCF defense is their willingness to give up their bodies to block the shots. So, if you've heard me commentate before, you are very much aware that I like comparing players to Lightning players, because I am, in fact, a Lightning fan. And during their Stanley Cup run in 2021, the thing that I always enjoyed about them the most watching was their willingness to give their body up on the line. That is the definition of a true championship team, giving everything to the sport. And UCF is doing a great job of that on defense against these Owls.
Head coach Chris Brewster talks about culture. He said if you don't have culture, you don't have anything. And you see that in the way the Knights play. 10:30 to go in this third. Still a 2-1 Florida Atlantic lead. Jason Seifelt, one of the 2 goal scorers tonight. Backhands it for Ross. Right side, a chance for Pepe. Low pad spray to the near boards by Cass. A fight ensues. Joseph Dre smashed in the end board by Biller. Seifelt knocked down a bouncing puck. Pavanka got it ahead for Shimoni. Steered away by Stevens after Kovac. Owls punch the far wing. Pepe hits being laid out everywhere along the neutral zone. Seifelt from the red line dumps it in, and off goes that unit for the Owls. Back out, Vasiliev, Bezier, Zemba, and Jackson Neuendijk. Pinch in aggressively. Kovac gets around Neuendijk to the outside, held by Zemba. Active stick, him and Vasiliev. Robert Renner stood up. And tight! What a stop! Gunnar Stevens might be his best of the night.
Gunnar Stevens is locked in. That was a really tough shot by Aiden Lasky, trying to get it by Stevens to his teammate on the other side. That was, I believe, Graziati on the other side, looking for the opportunity to put it past Stevens, but Stevens says no. Great save by him.
There comes Bezier, dropped it. Neuendijk and broken up. Robert Renner was in the way of that drop pass. Zemba has to recenter himself. This is Lasky, active shift for one of the new additions at the start of the spring semester for the Knights. Flanagan at the red line, backs up. Stick to tape. Renner looking for Graziati. 2 goals yesterday and the 6-5 loss. And tight, strong, confident pad held by Stevens on that far post. Fuller, Biller's after it. He wants to get it out of the zone, over the head of everybody, and into the grasp of Kevin Flanagan out of Plantation, Florida. Oliverio will start a breakout. Neuendijk to enter against Flanagan. Stops on a dime. Left side, lane to shoot. Cut wide by Bezier. Oliverio held it at the far point. Wanted to take one to the net. Graziati stepped into it. The Knights are changing. Owls might be able to catch them, and they can't. They all get a new unit out there. Cuccia wanted to enter the zone. Foiled by Santiago. 7:52 to go in this hockey game. The Owls looking to win their final from Boca Ice Center this season and go to 16 on the overall. That would be one better than Tampa and two better than Florida to end the season. Santiago, a chance in front, helped out by Keenan. Joseph Dre might have been interfered with. Here's a shot from the Knights, turned aside by the stick of Sterling. Santiago, Murphy absorbs a check. Cross ice, Keating for Murphy. He'll hook. Left side, Keenan wants a shot, tried to take it there. Deflected by Dre. It's been all over the shooting lanes tonight for UCF.
And I love the awareness by Ronan Keenan, just standing in front, knowing where the puck is. Stevens gives up a little bit of a rebound there. Keenan was there to pick it up and put it out of harm.
Keenan came from UNLV's men's Division I team. Campagne turned a shot wide. And Keenan won a national championship a season ago with the Skating Rebels. Much needed addition to the second line for FAU. Daniel Tove. Unsuccessful hold in. Underneath the twig of Lasky. Given onside. Renner through the defense. Opposite 21. Here's Lasky for Graziati. Catone, active stick, gets in the way of both of them. Tove is there. Fuller, left side for Flanagan, to the net, and melted down by Stevens.
And that was another great job by number 41 on FAU. That's Daniel Tove just blocking Graziati out of the way. He was trying to set that screen in front of Gunnar Stevens, and Tove said no, wouldn't let him, gave Stevens a clear open lane to see that puck come in and make the save.
As much as we've commented on UCF getting in passing lanes, the Owls have really helped Stevens in front on those rebounds. 6:03 left in the third. 2-1 Owls lead. Tied up in front of the UCF bench. Campagne's in there against Flanagan. Help on the back end from Carson Mueller and Black. They work it free. Salar at the opposite point. Sidesteps two Owls. Gets it free. He's got a lane. Closing the gap, Campagne. That is a senior's effort. UCF and Mueller still on the forecheck, however. Salar, deeper. Behind the goal, Jackson. Out in front, nobody except powder blue sweaters. Georgiano with a long dump in. Cass with nobody around him. Gloved it down. Official saw that. Good job to let them play on. 5:15 left in the third. Flanagan off to the bench goes Andrew Cass. 6-on-5 for UCF. And they are whistled. And there is a potential penalty coming up.
Couldn't tell you what the penalty was there.
Well, let's wait for the signal at center. Head official tonight, Mike Greer, looked like he was coming out to announce a penalty, but we're getting clarification. He's talking to Blaise Pepe, David Ross, and a number of others.
Aiden Georgiano skating to the penalty box.
So they did get Georgiano. It's going to be 2 minutes. The indication is roughing. So they got Georgiano on a penalty. This is going to be a UCF power play. 5:07 to go. They are 1 for 2 on the night.
This is a great chance for UCF to finally get back into the swing of their offense, try to get some chances.
Not if Neuendijk has something to say about it. He's stood up by Flanagan. Gives time for UCF to move it up the ice. Last chance to avoid dropping 7 straight to the Owls, dating back to 22-23. Graziati, Renner for Flanagan left side. Negated by Oliverio. Graziati gets to it. Around Neuendijk. Kept to the outside. Keenan lifts the stick. Biller. Forked out. Dre from the top of the right dots. Has a lane to shoot. Over top of the goal. Flanagan keeps it onside. Banked it off the kick plate. Graziati doesn't hold. And Neuendijk is out to the logo. Short-handed. Biller tried to get inside and poke checked at the last minute by Robert Renner. Flanagan sees Fuller. He's waiting for help though off the bench with the second unit coming out on the power play. Solar turned away by Catone. Dwindling down, 43 to go in the man advantage. UCF was perfect on the power play yesterday, and in this game they're 1 for 2. From the back of the goal, at the end wall, Pavanka doesn't hold it in. Great penalty kill from FAU. Kuchia scored a shorthanded goal earlier. Drags to the middle. Sandwiched by 2 defenders. Losing a glove and getting it back is Aiden Lasky. 15 to go in the power play. Daniel Tove picks it off right at the logo. Murphy, last man there was Solar. They almost had a shorthanded break again. Bezier calling for it, Catone, and dumped the length of the ice. Perfectly timed. Out of the box is Georgiano. 1 for 3 on the night is UCF. They'll have to get into the offensive zone before they can think about pulling Cass. Solar steers it up the near boards. Pavanka doesn't stop it. Tove sends it back. One of the 4 seniors trying to go back to the locker room and get ready for regionals next weekend. In Cincinnati, Ohio, Jake Murphy. Past Cass. Knights having all kinds of trouble getting set up. The Owls are pressuring them. A chance in front, Seefeld. Carried out by Kovac. Cass looking at the bench, waiting for Brewster to motion him. He's still in net to our left. 2:14 to go in this hockey game. Entering the fold, Bezier stole it out of the half boards. He's got speed. Poked by Flanagan. The Owls will take that though, as Seefeld steers back for Zemba. The senior defenseman. Knocked down, Payne. Flanagan will control. Banked off the boards for Payne. Santiago to carry. Cass still in net to our left as the Knights are changing. 1:40 to go in the game. Shot from the point, fought off by Stevens. Vasiliev after it with Pepe. Cass calling to the bench to say, get me out of here. He wants to go. Coach Brewster has not motioned to him. Here's a chance in front. Low pad stop. The rebound given up at the point. Joseph Dre deflected by Georgiano. Here comes Blaze Pepe. One man to beat. To the net. Hooked down. Delayed penalty called.
Not a bad penalty to take for UCF.
Gunnar Stevens with a stamp stop. Made it with the right skate blade. And for UCF,
Dre.
that might mean the end.
Joseph Dre's headed to the penalty box. He is incredulous.
That play at the last second made, and with 1:09 to go, the Owls will be on the power play if they don't take one themselves. From the faceoff, Jake Murphy. The Owls came into this game winning their final 2 in the series against Tampa last week, and Murphy is tripped up by Jacob Fuller, who slams his stick into the boards. The Owls all but sealing up, trying to win 4 straight. And yesterday against UCF, they did it in comeback fashion.
A Less than a minute left. And the third and final period on senior night. The seniors have played so well this game, especially Gunnar Stevens. UCF has had chances, but Gunnar Stevens has played electric. He will definitely be mobbed by his teammates. The end of this one, for sure.
Well deserved for the Falmouth, Massachusetts native. Came in relief of Rocco Bruno against Farmingdale State, where Jackson Neuendijk scored the overtime winner. He's looking to pick up win number 4 in his 6th start. And the Owls are 50 seconds away from 4 straight and closing out the regular season on a high note. Neuendijk enters, switches places with Biller. Right side, a lane to shoot, scores! Jake Murphy.
And that one's going to put the stamp on this game. That was just way too easy for Jackson Neuendijk and Jake Murphy. Neuendijk dealing right to wide open Murphy, who just slots it right by Andrew Cass. There was nothing Cass could do about that one.
Murphy has eclipsed 10 goals and 25 points. Neuendijk picks up the assist for his 36th point of the year, an 11th apple. The Owls put a stamp on this night. And fitting for 2 guys they're going to rely on heavily next week. Solar, though, strips it. Sailed a shot high behind the goal. Poked out from Biller. Daniel Tove, Tommy Zemba, Anthony Campagne, and Gunnar Stevens are going to win this game on their final night from Boca Ice Center as Florida Atlantic Owls. Solar, one last shot, great save by Stevens, gloved out of the air, and that is fitting. The Owls win it 3-1 on senior night.
Gunnar Stevens rightfully gets mobbed by all of his teammates. A legacy game for him, following up on the brilliance he showed against Farmingdale. Gets a hug from Rocco, Bruno, and the rest of them.
He had to be good. UCF, tons of pressure at the end. They took 2 penalties that cost them a chance at getting even. But what a job by the 4 seniors and this collection. Shorthanded goal early in this game from Christian Cuccia with tallies in back-to-back games. Jason Seifelt with Finn Moore and David Ross. The second, UCF's only goal from Kevin Flanagan on the power play from Joseph Dre. And Jake Murphy, Jackson Neuendijk finish it off for the final time in Boca Raton this season. Final shots will come in just a moment. UCF finishes 1 for 3 on the power play. Owls go 1 for 3 themselves. And all but 1 was on the special teams tonight. They salute this crowd. Emotional parents all around. Christina Stafaliris, Brian Black, some other seniors that were honored tonight, and this entire FAU staff that does such a tremendous job. So fitting for everybody to walk out of here happy. Credit to UCF on the fight tonight, Wes, but fate calls it. FAU will go to the regional feeling happy.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot that they can take from this game. You just had a heart on his chest effort from Gunnar Stevens to keep them in this game as long as they did. And they're just going to bring this entire game to the regionals. And what momentum is going to come out of this is because FAU showed that they can compete and they can play good hockey against a really good M3 UCF team. And UCF has some good things to take into their College Hockey South trip. as they're going to face a lot of good teams, but they're a good team in themselves.
Final shots came in 36-28 in favor of UCF, and that means Gunnar Stevens stops 35 shots. And what could be his final as an FAU Owl. We'll see what happens next week in Cincinnati, Ohio. Reminder, you can watch Florida Atlantic take on Miami of Ohio from the Queen City Sportsplex at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Subscribe to Flow Hockey to watch all of the regional coverage. And I'll also have the ACHA National Tournament. 2 wins would send the Owls to St. Louis. And let's hope they can get it done against the TSCHL opponent. So we're going to get ready to sign this one off. Owls improve to 16-7-2-0, where they finished the season 6-5-1-0 in division play. UCF drops this one to 10-13-1-1, 9-9-0-1 in division play, as they'll get ready with a week off for College Hockey South playoffs, and that field will just about be set by next week. Wes Moore, such a tremendous time working games with you this season. You and I aren't done yet. Hopefully Owl fans and Knight fans will join our coverage on the College Hockey South YouTube page. But just give us your overall perspective doing M2, M3 games. Your experience level grew a lot. Just what did you enjoy most about this year?
The thing that I enjoyed most about this year, I mean, it's just following a really good hockey team. Both teams are so talented, and it's great to see them grow throughout the year and add new players and add new guys, have new faces come in. For instance, Jackson Newendike, Ronan Keenan weren't on the team last year, and they stepped in this year and have been on a blaze. They've been absolutely electric for FAU this year. And on M3, even though they're not going to go, their season's over, they're not going to go to the CHS regionals, it's been great to just see them play hockey and put their heart on their sleeve and just get out there and compete, because they're a really good team. Next year, they're going to be even better. They're going to get new recruits. They're going to have the players with way more experience. They're a young, good team in only their second season, so it's just great to see a program grow.
And you're a young guy yourself. We hope to see you on a lot more games, because from my perspective, you've grown as a broadcaster. You're a mainstay in this program. Owl TV is so grateful to have you, and I know you work your tail off for the Club Sports Network. For you, I appreciate working with you. It's been a lot of fun, and I look forward to hearing you grow in this role, and stick with it. It's a lot of fun covering some good hockey teams, and FAU looks like they're on a path towards greatness next weekend from Cincinnati, Ohio. So for the final time this year on Owl TV, our great production staff, our producer Mitch Liswith, Wes Moore, color commentator, my name is Devin Serra. Thank you to everybody out there listening all season long. Hope to see the Owls move on far, and appreciate my time here and meeting everybody in the staff, and also thanks to the GM Scott Grodsky, the advisor Mark Hyman, Kim Casey who runs the social media, Christina Stafoliris, Ryan Black, graduating senior.
Amazing
so
staff.
Many great people that make up FAU hockey, and it's not done yet. So look forward to more in the future. For now, my name is Devin Serra. Thanks for watching this presentation of Owl TV. Final score, Owls 3, UCF 1. Have a great rest of your night.